Alright, this genuinely might be Donald Trump's most deranged meltdown to date. He has posted 10 times on Truth Social over the past few hours, and each post is more deranged than the last. Each post is full of lies and reveals something deep down about Donald Trump because, of course, every time he talks, he is projecting. I don't want to waste a single second of your time. Let's jump right into it. All that I ask is that you click the like button below and make sure you're subscribed to the Mockler YouTube channel. So I guess let's start from 45 minutes ago. Donald Trump posted, "Comrade Kamala Harris sees there are problems for her campaign in New Hampshire because of the fact that they disrespected it in their primary and never showed up. Additionally, the cost of living in New Hampshire is through the roof, their energy bills are some of the highest in the country, and their housing market is the most unaffordable in history. I protected New Hampshire's first in the nation primary, blah, blah, blah." And the thing is, Donald Trump is straight up projecting right here. This is pure projection because we got a bombshell article today titled, "Trump campaign no longer thinks New Hampshire is winnable and is pulling back from state leaked insider email claims." And this article goes into detail about how a top volunteer within the Trump campaign sent out an email saying that New Hampshire is not winnable, we all need to move over to Pennsylvania, and he was immediately fired and silenced by the Trump campaign. So Donald Trump decided to do some damage control, and in the process, he's making everything much worse. He comes out and says, "Comrade Kamala Harris sees there are problems for her campaign in New Hampshire," as his campaign is rapidly migrating away from on-the-ground work in New Hampshire because they know they're going to lose. And I've pointed this out multiple times, but I think it's hilarious. Hilariously ironic that Donald Trump's nickname, Comrade Kamala, only works if you pronounce Kamala's name correctly because of the alliterative first syllable. Comrade, Kamala, where he says Comrade Kamala, it just doesn't really make sense in the same way. Donald Trump's next post, "The car industry will be over and out in Michigan if the Democrats get in. If I become your president, again, we will dominate the industry. Automaking plants will return at record levels." Can I just point out, Michigan went blue in 2020 because auto industry workers in Michigan and in states across the country understand which party lies with their interests. President Biden has over and over repeatedly visited these manufacturing companies, talked to the leaders, and tried to integrate that into his bills. That is why UAW President Shawn Fain has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris handily. Donald Trump then said it was a great honor to do a sit-down with Lex Friedman for his podcast. It will be airing at 1 p.m. today. We will be doing a breakdown of that. I'm sure it's going to be softball questions. Lex Friedman would not push Donald Trump on anything. And I will say Donald Trump has been doing a decent job making his way around the Bro Unit podcast. I mean, he went on Lex Friedman, he went on Theo Vaughn, Logan Paul, all of these people. Tim Walz and Kamala Harris need to match that. I think Tim Walz needs to go on some Bro podcasts, whether we like it or not. Donald Trump then posts a promotion for his new book, Save America, where he says some deranged stuff in it about executing or jailing Mark Zuckerberg. He said, "My new book comes out today. Have you gotten your copy? I hand-selected every photo." I doubt that's true. Here is where Donald Trump's meltdown gets wild. I wasn't lying to you guys. He said, "Maduro's plane has been seized by the U.S. That's okay. He can now go out and get a much bigger and much better one with all the money we pay to Venezuela for oil that we don't need. We have more liquid gold than any other nation. How stupid are our leaders?" And the thing about Donald Trump is every single time he's talking about some authoritarian dictator, he is praising this person. I've noticed this pattern. When he talks about Xi Jinping, he is brilliant. Vladimir Putin is smart and strong. Kim Jong-un is a good leader, and he gets along with all of them. That's what he says. He gets along with them. And then he talks about Justin Trudeau. He talks about Angela Merkel, and he constantly derides them and puts them down. Let's add Maduro to the list with Viktor Orban and Xi Jinping and Putin. Donald Trump only likes to boost up authoritarian leaders and likes to tear down any liberal leaders. So somehow Kamala Harris is low IQ and wants to destroy the world, but Vladimir Putin is strong, smart, and has to lead a country. Donald Trump then enters damage control mode once more and said, "There was no fighting at Arlington National Cemetery last week. It was a made-up story by Comrade Kamala and her misinformation misinformation squad, this is wild stuff. She made it all up to make up for the fact that she and Sleepy Joe have blood on their hands, in all caps, for the incompetent Afghanistan withdrawal. Let me remind you, Donald Trump laid out the timetable for that. The most embarrassing day in U.S. history. He's forgetting about January 6th. They should have been in Arlington, not on a beach or studying for debate. Thank you to my friends, the great Gold Star families, for revealing the truth of a beautiful day of honor. Could not have been a nicer moment, and there were no fights or problems, only in the heads of those that are destroying our country. J.D. Vance said himself on stage that there was an altercation at Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, he said it. He came out and admitted it, and then he tried to defend the person that was trying to take the photograph that apparently assaulted the worker. So Donald Trump in damage control mode is just so hilarious, because with every step that he takes, he makes the situation much, much worse. I mean, they're still posting videos of Arlington National Cemetery that they recorded on the day this altercation took place because they have no foresight. Trump then said, Jonathan Turley, legal scholar and best-selling author, has written a brilliant new book. I guess all of that brown-nosing, sucking up that Jonathan Turley has done, destroying his own career, is now paying off in the form of one Truth Social post with 5,000 likes on it. And I just want to point out, the reason that Donald Trump is completely freaking out right now is because he is slipping in the polls, number one. Number two, VP Harris is far out fundraising him, and he knows that his grasp is slipping and he could end up in jail. This article is titled, Kamala Harris Will Win U.S. Election, Telegraph Poll Predicts. After weeks of gains on Donald Trump, Vice President is ahead enough in battleground states to take the White House in November. And I just want to say, this is a prediction model based off statistics. We absolutely have to show up and vote in November. In fact, I'm doing a voter registration event in Wisconsin in early October. We are registering voters in Milwaukee, link in the description. But this article reads, Kamala Harris is on course to win this year's U.S. presidential election, a Telegraph poll of swing states predicts for the first time. The vice president is winning in enough battleground states to propel her to the White House in November's election following weeks of gains on Donald Trump. Can I really quickly just flip over to this 538 model that says that VP Harris is predicted to win, but it's still a coin flip? If I scroll down to the actual polls over on the right, let me zoom in. Harris +2, Harris +4, Harris +2, +6, +3, +2, +5, +6, +7. I mean, you guys get the idea. Just some amazing numbers coming out for VP Kamala Harris. Let's go back to this article. A survey conducted in 7 swing states for the Telegraph by Redfield and Wilton Strategies found Harris is projected to win the key states of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, which would allocate her 270 electoral college delegates and win her the election. The winning candidate must secure at least 270 delegates to win the election, giving Miss Harris a narrow win over Trump. And here's a map of what it could potentially look like, what this narrow win would look like. It is down to the absolute wire, 270 to 262. The figures suggest Miss Harris would take the same path to the White House as Joe Biden in 2020, relying on the same support from Midwestern Rust Belt states. Trump is projected to win the Sun Belt, of course, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. I wish it weren't so, but it will most likely go to Trump. Maybe we can win Georgia, maybe. I think we're going to win Arizona. While the pair are tied on 47% of the vote in Nevada, VP Harris does seem to be putting together the same coalition that won President Biden in the 2020 election, and I hope it works out. If you guys agree, leave a like on this video, comment a blue heart, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.